Snumsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows, the Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So I'm on my own today. Hopefully we're gonna lead from within together. And our topic today is overcome anxiety and depression, essential coping skills revealed. So on this video, I am going to share with you how to cope with anxiety if you're someone who is struggling with anxiety or depression, and how to process your emotions if you are struggling with the depression. This video is for you and anxiety. And I'm going to discuss the different aspects of coping with these two things, hopefully, and also in order to manage how to manage them as well. And I'm going to give you the insight into coping with them. And I am going to cover understanding anxiety and depression. The impact of mental health and physical health is important to us, and defining triggers and patterns, the role of therapy of recovery, and cultivating resilience and positive thinking is very, very important to actually cultivate positive thinking when you are struggling with anxiety and depression, embracing mindfulness and meditation. And for me, I don't use meditation. Those who use meditation, you can use meditation. I use prayer with that. Nurturing health in a relationship, managing stress and building a coping strategy. You have to have, when you are under pressure, you feel under pressure, you have to create a framework that can take you to where you need to be with your breakthrough and your breakthrough of your healing. So you need to have a strategy towards that, and the power of physical exercises. Physical exercises is very, very important. So we're going to cover that. Nutrition and its effect on moods. If you don't take good nutrition, it could affect your moods, and overcoming sleeping disorder, and finding joy and a meaning in life is very, very important to find joy. When you're going through challenges in life, you're going through depression and anxiety, find joy, find something that brings joy to your life, find a meaning with life so you can override whatever you go through that moment, sustain progress and preventing relapse. So it's very, very important to actually when you go through these challenges, it's very, very important to actually have that strategy, because in today's world, in today's world is a fast-paced world. You have, if somebody has got children, children are demanding your time. Children demand to for their future. Parents have to prepare a future for their children. And work is demanding. If you're somebody who works, you have a business, everything is demanding. If you're studying, everything is demanding. Some people work and they study, they look after the children. Some people do so many things. So sometimes it can actually affect your health if you don't know how to cope with all these things. And it's very, very important to learn how to overcome and how to manage all these things practical, and have a good strategy as the individual. You have to find something that works for you. So this video is not something that can help you with medication, or that can help you to say, if I watch this video with Nkosi Talk Show's video, I'm gonna feel better. No, you have to find the strategy based on what you are going through in life, so you can find that the path of towards healing and resilience. So it's very, very important to make sure that when you go through life, look at your life and just create a strategy. This video is not a medical or psychological advice, but rather as a companion to it, that you can actually, it draws upon the evidence based on the research, experts inside, and the experiences of those who have successfully navigated and difficulty, trained anxiety and depression. So that's why we're going to talk about the journey of healing that requires patience. It requires patience. When I mean patience, it means that you have to be patient with your life. It requires self-compassion. You have to have self-compassion with your life. And you have to have a dedication. You have to dedicate your life to actually wanting to live a healthy life, wanting to look after yourself. So you have to dedicate your life to actually look after your emotions and look after your conditions. If somebody who is going through a depression, so I don't know what you are going through in this life, and I don't know what challenges you are facing through the anxiety, through depression. But all I know is you can actually, if you have actually knowledge and the strategy and tools to control whatever you're going through, to have actually take control, because depression can take control in our lives. Anxiety can take control in our lives. While the road to recovery may seem daunting, some people you may find that they are like, when it comes to anxiety, they go through so much, really, really so much. And so it's very, very important to actually find guidance and encouragements to actually use self-help techniques to complete your therapy. So because if you complete your therapy, sometimes people take the easy way out, which is the medication. But medication sometimes can make things worse. Even the doctors, I took my daughter one day, she had the flu, and the doctor said, we were talking, and the doctor said to me, and we were talking, and then I started telling him that we're actually taking honey. My daughter is taking honey and fruits, juice. We're making fruits juice, and we're eating healthy. So I started giving him the list of the things that my daughter was taking, and he said that is a wonderful idea. And I'm afraid I can tell you, I can sit here and tell you that medication, antibiotics, people think they work, but they don't. Mindset wise, the antibiotics are there, people believe that they work, but if you just do your healing, and it will work. When I have flu, I don't take medication anymore. I actually, is very, very, very disgusting. I eat garlic. When I eat garlic, everything comes out, like everything goes into my head. So everything just comes out, whatever is blocking that, it comes out. So it shows that sometimes we can rely on medication, but we can try, it's good to try to actually heal ourselves naturally. And it's very, very important to do that. But I'm not saying if you're on medication, I'm not saying take off your medication. All I'm saying is you have to explore different things while you are taking that medication, so you can understand anxiety and depression, how it works. And also the fundamental of it, and explore different things. And also is very, very important also, if you really, really want to healing with any sickness, you have to understand the roots of the condition in the first step towards reclaiming control over one's mental well-being. You have to ask yourself, how did this begin? Like when you go to the doctors, all they say to you is, Is there anyone in the family history who has got any kind of condition? Because they want to know whether is it a genetic thing. They want to know where the roots are coming from, or so they don't diagnose you wrong. Or sometimes they can actually diagnose you wrong because maybe you tell them that the family history, we have the history of this. But depression is sometimes it could start from family history. The bloodline is history. There are some people in the bloodline who struggle from depression and anxiety. And that anxiety, it ends up in the family, people taking their own lives. I've met somebody that in the family, they have that. Somebody, and the other person that actually took their own life, I think it was last year. So they have that in the family. So some people do have that. So it's important, whatever sickness you go through, check the family history. Where did it all start in family-wise? Sometimes it could be just spiritual sickness, or sometimes it could be a spiritual sickness. It means it's not real. It's the mind. So that means you could actually heal yourself if it's not real. You could heal yourself by actually creating a strategy that works. The mind is actually a powerful healing. It's really, really powerful healing. When I go to the doctors, I never ever allow the doctors tell me that diagnose me with a sickness anymore. I used to do that until I met one of the pastors. I used to get sick all the time with the flu, with the coughs. And one day I met this pastor, and he explained to me how does the sickness works. And since that day, I don't allow any sickness. I really don't. And I just have to use my mind to heal myself. And so you can do that, but you have to create a strategy that works as the individual, because our situations are different. We all have different situations. We all have, there's some things that we battle with, that we face as the individual. So you have to look at your situation and ask yourself the roots of the problem. Where does these problems, the underlying problems, the roots of this anxiety and depression is step by step? And also, as its core of anxiety, sometimes it can be a natural response to stress or danger. It is a survival mechanism designed to keep, we're describing anxiety now, and designed to keep us alert and safe in threatening situations. So however the anxiety becomes chronic and overwhelming, it can significantly disrupt our lives. So it's good to explore the difference, all those different disorders and symptoms and factors, and what contributes to their development. I think that was 10 years ago. I have never suffered with the anxiety, but I think that was 10 years ago. I started getting depressed a little bit by bit. You know your body. And I was like, I've never felt this way like this in my whole life. Why am I getting stressed? And there was nothing. That I was worried about in my life. I was happy. Little things in my life makes me happy. So I was happy. So I started questioning myself. Why do I look unhappy? Do I feel unhappy within inside? You know, so the describe of this unhappiness is, you have everything in life, friends and family, you're happy. But inside there was this like dark cloud that I felt that I wasn't happy anymore. So then I started questioning myself, and I started questioning the roots of the problems, where the problems began. And the more I prayed, the more the problems came to light. what was the problems. I thought I had depression, but actually I didn't. Hey girl, are you coming to pick your hoodie? Hello? Okay, she's gone. My daughter, she's actually giving out school hoodies for leavers thing, and I think somebody left the hoodie there. My daughter left the hoodie by the door. I think somebody's just picking it up. So yeah, back to the topic. So as I was being unhappy, I thought I was in a confusing place, and I was like, I don't understand, but inside I'm happy. But why am I feeling this way? So the more I prayed, the more I realized actually there was more to it. The more I prayed, the more I realized that there was more to it. So, and in the end, I realized actually it was some of the music that I was playing was contributing to what I was going through. Some music people that are into the secret society. So that was causing depression, which is a Satanism. Secret society, it means when I'm playing this music, is bringing other demons, is actually bringing demons, is bringing other guys. I was connecting with their guys. It wasn't a joke. So anybody that is listening, they can say, yeah, no, sir, this, but it was certain artists that I loved, and I thought I loved them, but now I'm realizing that I didn't, because they have this thing where when they join the occult, they will drag people, their guys, they will drag people to actually listen to more music, more audience. So I was one of those people that I was listening to music, and that music was getting me into depression because I didn't know anything about Satanism or secret society. I didn't believe in it. So I hear people on television saying this person has joined the secret society or whatever they're joining, and I wouldn't take any notice. But the more I play the music, the more I get depressed. So it was then when I fasted for 40 days. I wanted to understand why am I unhappy? And the end of that 40 days, so I was confronted with the things that I did not expect. So the music that I was playing, it came to life. So their gods now were starting to speak, to say, no, you cannot break through and move away. So you have to understand that the reason I'm sharing this is because it's real. There are so many people who are suffering from depression that does not exist, and they pump their medication after medication, but it is actually the music that people play. It can contribute. I've had my pastor, Dr. Olukoya. I have pastors here on Facebook that they have helped me with what I was going through. If you check out Leroy, my brother Leroy is on Facebook. He was one of the people that actually helped me to go through, because I couldn't understand it. I didn't understand. I didn't know anything about secret society. It might sound dumb, but I didn't know. You know, when you hear people speak, you actually don't believe it. But when you actually go through it, that's when you believe it. So that's when some people, they've helped me. Dr. Olukoya, you listen to him, he talks about all these things a lot, but I've gone through it myself. So I went deep. I was going deep, like unhappy. And normally when I play music, I feel happy. But at that moment when I played music, I couldn't feel happy. Or sometimes I go to these churches, there are specific churches that are into secret society, and which I didn't know. And I was going through to one of these churches, and one of the pastors, there is pastors who are famous on YouTube. People watch, they follow them. So I was actually going to their church because I didn't know. I thought a church is a church. Like everybody else, I take the Bible, I say, hallelujah, Jesus. But I didn't know that some of the church are into secret society. So I'll go to church, and I was becoming unhappy. until this thing confronted me, and I just started seeking help. That's when I got told. But if I had gone to the doctor, I would have gone into medication. Actually, I did go to the doctor first because one more thing, I was becoming unhappy, and the more I pray, I got hit on my back, and then I went to the doctor, and doctor gave me the big medication, and I looked at them and I was like, I have to take this, and I don't think so. So I didn't take the medication. And in the end, I had to seek help. I was like, I don't understand. I was feeling okay before I started playing this. A specific artist, which is I'm not allowed to share it with you. So when you play music, you have to understand that some music will cause depression because it is Satanism. Satanism's job is there. For those who didn't know, it's not a joke. I personally nearly died. If I didn't know anything, I would have gone to the doctors. The doctors would have pumped me with medication, which I wouldn't have known. They would have pumped me with the injection that I wouldn't have known that it wasn't real until somebody said, what kind of music do you play? So I put the list. So I actually, these people, they already knew what I was going through because they are prophecies. So they just explained it to me that I need to stop listening to those music. It was my choice anyway, that I made a choice that I'm going to stop listening to the music, and I'm going to stop. I completely stopped going to these churches, to the church as well, specific church. But some people, even my family members, they're into this, they're with these churches, but they're secret society, but I'm not allowed to stop them. I cannot do that, because when you stop somebody, they get upset and they wouldn't understand, but they have to experience the pain, because the pain is not a joke. For me, the pain, it was too much to bear. It was too much to bear until I got disconnected. I don't want to lie to you or say, I can say this, I can say this. So I don't want to lie to you. The pain, it was too much. But at that moment, I found, if you seek help and you find other pastors who are into secret society, they sell you out more and more and more and more. But these people that I worked with, they were honest with me and they didn't lie to me. When I asked them what I was facing, they were like, you are facing death, and I'm saying, you are being actually sacrificed. That's why I felt depression. I was going deep and deep into depression. So when I asked them what was the consequences of what I was going through, so they didn't lie to me. They were like, you are actually playing this music, and the consequences of this is this. So I had to look at the roots, and at that moment, I felt I was in a position where I had to believe the medication or I had to believe in the scriptures. But I chose to believe in the scriptures. And that moment, I've never looked back, because I knew something wasn't right. When you know yourself very, very well, you will know, even when you go to the doctors, you will know where the problem began. And my problem didn't make sense. I wasn't worried about anything. I had worked on my personal development. I wasn't worried about finances, or I was happy. I was in a happy place. But all of a sudden, I started sinking. The more I play, the more I say hallelujah, God, the more I pray, or the more I go to this thing deeper, and the more I sink into no feeling being okay. So it's very, very important. I'm sharing you this story because I know there are some people who are going through what I went through. That one I can tell you 100%. I've met people, they tell me their story, and I listen to their story, and they love the music that I was playing, but I'm not allowed. As a child of God, I'm not allowed to actually say to somebody, is because of what you are playing. They have to They have to actually find that path themselves, because I had found that path myself. So they have to find the path. The only thing I can tell you is it is a raw power of God, the prayer. There's a certain prayer that when you pray, everything gets revealed to you. So that's why I actually, even the people that told me, they actually said, Nomsa, you know what you're going through, because this is a spirit, occult spirit in the secret society. It told you, listen to your heart. He said, listen to your, go back, rewind everything. It doesn't lie. It tells you the truth. When it hugs you, it tells you the truth. So I had to rewind myself. And I realized actually it was this thing, a certain artist that I've listened to, their gods, and they actually got my head into my head. And in that moment, my head became something else. But I was very, very lucky. I didn't get into the doctors. I didn't get to have the medication. I believed the people that were helping me, and I had to have a strategy. So the strategy that I created, it helped me to actually to be where I am today. My mindset, it does not. So I'm going to be very, very clear with those people who doesn't believe, who say secret society doesn't exist. They don't just hack anyone. They want people who are smart. If you are smart, they want your mind. So that's why you sink into depression. When you sink into depression, is somebody else has your mind, is using your mind. If you have a voice, beautiful voice with singing, which I have, they want that voice, so that the person that join them, when that person goes on stage, when they sing, all these voices are linked together, they sound amazing in a way that it makes people crazy. It's like, what do you call it? It's a seduction, so that it gives the audience the seduction. So that's what they are looking for. That's why they hug people when they play music, so that you sink into depression. But then the oil of your glory, that voice, your voice, it sounds very, very, I don't know, it sounds very, doesn't make sense. But if you read the Bible, there's people in the Bible that did that. They use gift, other people's gift, like Pharaoh. There's so many people that you can read in the Bible, and that exist in this world. So those who didn't know, so you find that if you are somebody who has a nice voice, your voice, they get hacked and you look dumb, somebody else looks amazing. They will sound amazing using your voice while you sink into depression. Or if you are somebody who is intelligent with the education, like they will hack you, you sink into depression, and then somebody else will use your mind to pass exams. They will use one of their members, they will use your mind to pass exams. Basically, you become dumb and the other person become genius using your own mind. That's how it works. And at first, when they were explaining to me, I was like, okay, it's complicated, but in the end, I got it. So you have to, that's why it's important to actually understand, where did the depression, the roots of anxiety, where did they start? It could be maybe family bloodline. It could be secret society, the music caused by the music, and you don't know. So I've explained with the music how it works. It's not a joke. For those who think it's a joke, who watch music on YouTube, it's not a joke. I can stand and testify that I would have died. I can stand and testify. It's not a joke. It's real. I actually, the last time when this happened, I actually, when their gods were speaking, And actually, I told somebody else, and then somebody called the social services, and they called everybody else, thinking that I was crazy. But unfortunately, the social services they actually called, everybody was called, and the police was called, because I told somebody that I've listened to this music, but now the guys are speaking, and the guys were actually, they were actually talking like wanting for me to be sacrificed, but I could hear them. So that's what was happening, and it wasn't a joke. So I called my pastor, my old pastor. He lives in Braintree, LM Church, and he within an hour he was in the house, and I was like, I don't understand. He was like, okay. So he prayed for me, and I was like, in the end, they called a psychiatric doctor, and then luckily that doctor knew what I was talking about. He had gone through people, met people. He said, I've traveled around the world. I have lived my life. He's an Englishman, and he said, a white Englishman, and he said to the social services, the doctors and everybody, I have traveled around the world. She's not telling lies. She's not crazy. She's telling the truth. And he said, Nomsa, what would you like to do? And I said, I spoke to my brother, Leroy. I'm not making things up. I spoke to my brother in South Africa. He said, Nomsa, you need to come home. We need to disconnect you. And that's how I got saved. It's not a joke or anything that I can make up things and say this, and then I went home. And my brother explained to me what I was going through. It was a very, very life-changing for me, because I'm thinking that the artists that I respect and watch them, they want to kill, their gods want to kill me. And the people that I love and respect, they want to kill me. So I was like, what the heck? But I managed to go through. But if that doctor would have made a mistake and said she needs to go on medication, they would have actually wrong diagnosed me, and they would have taken my life. They would have changed my story completely. But when I went home, my brother just prayed with me and redisconnected. He overrided everything, and I was fine. I was okay after, and after that, he explained to me that not every church that says God is a church of God. Satanism. So you have to be aware of those things, and can cause depression. Not every music that you play, or even gospel music, or hip-hop music, R&B, whatever you call it, is under a music thing. He was like, some people are under secret society. So when you play their music, you worship their gods. Whenever they need a sacrifice to actually make them whoever they want to make themselves, their kingdom, they'll come and take their audience. It sounds nasty, but that's real. I've gone through it. So it's very, very important to make sure that when you actually watch this music, the depression, you understand the link between, what's the link between these two things. So those are the things that for myself, I went through it, and after going through it, so I had to understand, I had to actually understand how to actually break. Because through that journey, I'm not going to lie to you, through the journey of what I was going through as a person, I realized, hey, how are you doing? I realized that there was a stigma. There's actually a stigma through when you're going through something. Even when you go through Satanism exists, secret society exists. And they do things, what they do. There are some churches that they are involved in sacrificing people. It exists. But there is a stigma through it. And then you go through the anxiety and the depression, because for me, myself, there were answers that I couldn't understand. I was like, I was okay, but why do I feel this way? I find that every person that I was confiding in, they were thinking that I was crazy. So I realized through that there's so much stigma when it comes to Satanism, when it comes to depression, when it comes to anxiety. Even my family, I can tell you that I stopped confiding in my family because my family couldn't get it. So it's something that I had to. That's why when I actually speak, every topic that I speak, I always say the environment of the people that you are with is very, very, very important, because some people, whenever you have a problem, when you actually actually speak to somebody and telling them, confiding in somebody with your problems, is where you're going to see whether these people, they are really or not. I have a big family myself, big family. And in that moment, that's when I realized that a stranger took a stand to help with my journey. A stranger that I've never met. There's a pastor, my friend, he just gave me a phone number. How I actually survived this. My friend just actually, she gave me a phone number and said, Noms, I'm going to this church. And this guy, when I spoke to him on the phone, he seems to knew what I was going through. He's based in London. And I spoke to him. And then when they were calling, because you confide in somebody, when I confided in that person, I thought I was talking to them. And the next thing I hear the knock, it was the police. The next thing I hear the knock, the social services were called. The next thing I hear, the psychiatric doctor was called, my GP, my pastor was called. And my pastor, is English, based in Henley, is a prophecy. He knew that I was facing death. He looked at me in the eye and said, Nomsa, you know who you are, and you know what you're going through. And I looked at him and I said, okay. And he said, you are going to fight this. Everything is in control. And every time my pastor, he gets questioned, he was like, she's going to be okay. And he didn't want to get involved. But those are the words that he looked at me and said, Nomsa, you know who you are, and you know what you need to do. And one of the social services came to me and looked at me in the eye. You know, when you are a good person and you serve God, I don't know your beliefs, what your beliefs are, and you serve God. And this girl, everyone was sitting in the other room, and she came to me and looked at me in the eye and said, do you know what's going to happen? They're going to put your medication in, and the next thing you're going to go bonkers. So you know what you need to do. So then when everybody in the room was questioning me, I told them that I need to go home. Those are the things that I needed to do. I need to go home. And the pastor that was in London, I never met the guy. He told them that I need to see her before you do anything. I need to see her. She's telling the truth. She's not going bonkers or anything. These guys are talking to her, but I need to see her. So the psychiatric doctor spoke to him, and then I met him. He just prayed to me and said, Nomsa, next time, for those who, he said, don't listen to certain music. The music that you listen when he said you need to feel it when you listen, when your body starts changing. Don't listen to it, just stop listening to it. So I don't listen to any music anymore. I don't listen to certain artists, and those are the big artists like in the worship industry, worship team industry, music industry. They're big bands. I don't listen to them anymore because they're into occult, and which is I didn't know. But that moment is when I realized who my family were. It was my mom. who was able to actually take a stand and hold my hand. It was a stranger that I have never met who took a stand when I couldn't understand. When I was like the depression, I've never suffered with the depression. It was a stranger that took a stand and hold my hands. Everybody else, they've turned against me. Everybody. Some people couldn't talk to me. They were like, she's crazy. They made up so many things. But even today, I have never actually opened my mouth and told my family what was going on, because I tried, and some of them were very, very judgmental, and some of them, they listen to this music and their lives is messed up. Because it doesn't just get to the depression, it puts your life into stagnation. You cannot move forward until you get out of it. So I just watch them, and whatever happens, or if you die, there's no heaven. For those who say secret society is a joke, you go to them, they are gods. They sacrifice you and they put you there. You go to them. So that's what happens. It makes them stronger so that they can save whoever they are saving. But it's not just artists, even family members, even some people who are big names, they are with them. So you just have to have faith when it comes to life. The depression, you have to know, look at the roots. For me, I looked at the roots, and that's when I was like, something did not make sense with my life. But at that moment, because I fasted for 40 days, and in that 40 days, the end of 40 days, that's when I broke my fast, the last day, when I was actually looking at myself in the mirror, choosing the path that I needed. I knew that I was unhappy, the life that I needed to the path that I needed to take. And that's when they stopped me and said, no, the door of where I was, I came out. Stagnation, depression, the what you call it. So I came out, and then somebody else said no, but I said no. And then I listened, I had to listen. And that moment, it was when this one confronts me and says, Nomsa, you stay with me, I'll make you great. Now the voices were speaking. I'll make you great, I'll make you famous. And God, I could feel God saying, choose your path, Nomsa. Choose it. But then I chose this path where there's joy, there's peace. And this one, because he's an artist, I actually released my song, Please Let Me Try. I released my song because I was splitting up with my ex. I released my song, my single, and I had to move away from that song that I released. That's when he confronted me and said, Nomsa, I'll make you great. I'll make you famous. Follow me. And as I refused. And he kept coming back. You need to join me. I will make you famous. I will give you everything. He put everything on the table, everything. That means in my heart, everything that I have always wanted. He said, if you follow me, secret society, that was the gods of secret society. Now he was speaking, if you follow me, I will give you this. I will make you famous. I will make you everything that you have ever wanted. You wanted 2 million audience followers within this to go viral. I will do it for you. And then there was God. He wasn't convincing me, but he was making me feel that the choices that I will be making that moment, that will define the rest of my life. But because I didn't know, that's when I confided in somebody and said, I'm being given a choice. Somebody's telling me that they'll make me great. And there's this. I've never been in this situation. I don't know what's going on. And this person, that's when they said she's crazy. They called the police. But now I understand that that's how the That's why that's how people join it. They join it because it does actually come through. It does confront people and give them a choice. So for me, the choice was to choose the path. That's when I realized actually God does exist. I chose the path that is very simple. I simply said to this thing that I don't want to be famous. If I become famous, it's going to happen because God has given me my gift to become who I'm supposed to become. Not somebody comes in and offering me. And I said to that person, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? What is in it for you? You're going to make me great. I understand you're going to make me famous. You're going to give me this. But what do you get out of it? So I realized the pastor that knew about secret society said, Nomsa, you join your family, you put your family under sacrifice. So I said, no, thank you. So that's how I got out of this depression of listening to music. That's when I got out into listening to these artists. And at the end of the day, I realized who my friends were. My mom, she's my best friend because she never sold me out. She never ever turned her back on me or judged me. She knew when I was facing. She actually made things worse by telling me more that she knows about it. And I was like, you're telling me you know about it and you've never actually explained it to me. I'm your daughter and you've never taught me anything. And she said, Nomsa, though these things is the things that you have to learn as you grow as a Christian, as you grow as a person, you learn. But she decided to hold my hand as a mother. She didn't turn her back on me, but every family member, some of my siblings, they turned their back on me. And I knew, I understood what I was going through that moment. My family, my spouse's family, they all turned their back on me. I can tell you this, I can stand and testify. Even that day, I've never ever had the courage to explain to them, for me to explain to them what I was going through, that I was facing death. When they say that we love you, Nomsa, on the text, I'm like, oh, right, great. I know it's not real. Because when you love somebody, you should be able to confide in them. You should be able to explain to them what is going on. But at that moment, I just decided a stranger, that a friend is the friend that got me through what I was going through, is a friend that took me in with my mom and said, I would dedicate my life to help your daughter. And that person dedicated their lives to help me. 2 a.m., 3 a.m. They were checking up on me, monitoring me, praying for me, to say everything is going to be okay. And when I actually moved away from that and stopped listening to the music, the real me came out. The real me that I have never, ever experienced in my life, it came out. I started feeling. Now I started realizing my talent, who Nomsa is. The Nomsa that was back in my childhood. That's when everything, I've realized what kind of a person I was. I wasn't just an ordinary person. I was somebody who's gifted. I realized that I am gifted. And that's why this thing was giving me an offer. But before, I didn't know who I was because I was sinking into something that I didn't know, I couldn't understand. So that's why I'm saying on this video, you have to understand the roots of your problems. Some roots may come from your childhood, where the parents, when you're growing up, your parents, maybe they have dreams for you. And then because your mind is not really your body, your everything, your inner being is not experiencing that person that it should be. And then that in a later stage, that could cause depression, it could cause anxiety. So you have to understand where that depression comes from, or sometimes it could come from being unhappy. So you have to know the roots, where the roots of the problem, where do they come from? And once you know the roots of the problem and then work on that based on where you understand where your anxiety and the roots is coming from as the individual, and also the stigma of the anxiety as well, and try to understand it, how things work. So in that way, you'll be able to actually create a framework and make decision, both that can actually help you to break through. And then it could cause social isolation. For me, there was no social isolation. I just wanted to hang out with people when I was going through this. I just wanted to hang out with people because this thing wanted me to be around people so he can hug other people. But he couldn't, because I caught it very, very early. So it could cause the social isolation. So you have to be aware of that. People can start withdrawing from their social interaction, avoiding friends, avoiding family, avoiding social gathering. For me, I didn't actually avoid all these things because it wasn't real. So you could start doing that, and the feeling of loneliness, and that can contribute to the progress of this condition. So how can it impact a relationship? Both condition can cause strain in a relationship with family, friends, romantic partner, and the person may even struggle, may face challenges understanding others, and that can lead to misunderstandings and conflict. Suicidal thoughts, it can actually cause all that. That can lead to suicidal ideations. So you have to be aware of that when you go through that. Some people can self-harm themselves, or if you go through that, you just seek immediate professional help. But unfortunately, we live in this world where there's so much judgmental. People are very, very, very judgmental. So you have to seek help by seeking help, professional, and go to your GP. And I don't think your GP is going to judge you either. So just seek professional help. Leave family members alone, because that's why, for me, I don't go to family members, because as much as I love my family, but sometimes people make things worse. When you tell them your problem, sometimes people may judge you. And so if you are somebody who is experiencing, like in the UK, you can ask your GP to refer you to a therapist, immediate therapist, or sometimes they might say, if you can't afford it, they might say waiting list, but you have to explain if things are not, if you don't feel okay. If you explain to your GP that actually I need help, I am feeling suicidal thoughts, so they can refer you emergency as a priority to make sure that you get help that you need. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to actually seek help and put yourself out there. And also it can cause a change of appetite, change in appetite. Some may experience losing weight, that may, or some may turn into comfort with food, which can result in them gaining weight, and some of them can develop eating habits that can impact overall health. It can actually, some depression can weaken your immune system. So it's all different. Some can cause muscle tension and pain. Some can cause all different things. So it depending with what you are feeling. So for me, what I would say is if you feel something you don't feel like, you've never felt before, just seek help. Don't be afraid to seek help. If anyway that you find yourself or you feel that people are going to judge you or anything, you just continue seeking help. Don't give up, because sometimes the life that we face, the things that we face in life, sometimes people can judge us for that. And depression and anxiety, it can bring major changes. Sometimes people lose their families, they can lose work. So you just have to make sure that you actually make sure that you believe in yourself. That's why every video that I watch, that I make, there's one thing that I always say, that if you believing in yourself, it means you cannot affirm my destination. As a person, you cannot affirm who I am as a person. So when you believe in yourself, when it comes to life, believing in yourself, it means when life brings all the things that you don't understand in life, you have to fight that battle. You have to know you're never alone. I wish I can say you have to know that you are alone, but you're never alone. God is always with you, whether you believe in him or you don't believe in him. He is the creator of the earth. So all I can say to you is you would never alone. There will be, if you go through challenges in life, there is always that one person that wants to help you through those challenges. So that's why every video that I make, I always make sure that people understand the life, how life works. We can stand there and say, I have a family can help me with this, or friends can help me with this. But when we go through pain, is when we realize who our friends are, who our family members are. So for me, all I can tell you is I have a friend, a father, an ancestor, a brother that will never let me down, which is my God. Regardless of whatever I go through in life, I know he's always there. When I was going through pain, when everybody was turning their back on me, in that moment, I realized that there's only one man that will never let me down, which is my God. So I stood and I called out his name each and every day. And every time I call his name, I found strength. There was strength. There was hope. My life, he showed me that my life, he created me. So I have a choice on how I respond. So you do have a choice whenever you go through pain in life. You do have a choice when it comes to God. And some people say they don't believe in him, but I do. Because that moment, when I thought I had the anxiety, which I didn't have, when I thought I had depression, which I didn't have, which I had questions with my life, I was like, what is going on? Why do I feel this way? I've never felt this way in my life. And that's when I realized, actually, my life has been put under something, but I had to fight on my own. If I had focused on getting upset with my family, I don't think I would have survived. I don't think I would have survived. So those are the moments that when you have a problem, is the moment where you have to actually use your beliefs. You have to find strength. You have to find hope. We were talking about hope. Tuesday. It's Thursday today. We were talking about hope on Tuesday. Find hope. So you have to find hope within you. What gives you hope in life? Where there is life, there is hope. What gives you hope? So for me, what gives me hope is God. God gives me hope. The flesh, I cannot depend on the flesh. They will always let me down. But all I know is with God, I will never, ever be disappointed. Never. Never, ever. I will never, if I just cry out to God, whatever I'm going through, if I'm going through business problems, marriage problems, health problems, if I call on Him, I know I will never be disappointed. That's all I can say. So you need to look at the roots of the problem. And once you look at the roots of problems and work on your negative thoughts and patterns, look at the changes, uncertain changes in your life as individual. Sometimes we can struggle to adapt with things, behavior. Look at your behavior. Identifying these things can help you. Your emotions, identify your emotions and social patterns. And that's all I can say. And also, mindfulness-based therapy is good for you. And also accepting what is going on at that moment and wanting the changes in your life is the benefits of, is the critical component of you moving forward with life. And coping skills and tools. So have tools, create I know somebody will say, Norms, are you kidding me? Where do I get time to actually, when I'm going through pain, how would I get time to create tools and thoughts? Trust me. The mind, our mind is a very, very powerful tool. Very, very powerful. Our mind is so powerful in a way that it can help us to do things that we can never imagine we are capable of in life. So if you let your mind, let your inner child guide you through life, and I don't know if you believe in God. Me, I'm just crazy with God. I just let Him guide me through life. Whenever I go through anything, I just let Him guide me through life. Because I know that there are some things in life that I don't have control over. There are some situations where I can stand and testify that I came across them. I did not have a solution to them. But then when I know that I don't have control over the situation or the event when they are happening, I just hand over to Him. So if you are somebody who is watching and you're going through something, and something that you don't understand, the anxiety, the depression, just look at the roots of the problems. Don't give up, because when we give up on our within, on our spirit man within, when we give up, that's when we lose to find that control with our lives. So don't keep your energy. Don't give up on life. Keep seeking help if you go through depression. And depression is caused by so many things. Sometimes the financial changes, sometimes the healthy changes. There's so many things that cause depression. So you have to look at the roots with a mindset of, I'm not giving up. Find the roots. I found my roots. For me, I found my roots. When I really go through problems, I have to put everything aside, and then I put God with me and to find a solution of why am I, not why, there's never why. There's never one to get out. I want to get out of the situation. Not why me. Never ever use that word, why me. So all you got to do when you go through challenges in life is know that it's a season. Everything happens for a season in life. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, be part of the family. If you're watching on Facebook, please don't forget to subscribe, be part of the family. We have to like us, like our page. We have a Facebook page, Ngozi Talk Show's Facebook page. We have Ngozi Talk Show group. We have a unique billionaire mindset group. So join the group and be part of the family so you don't miss out. So we are live 1 p.m. UK time. Sometimes I'm on my own and sometimes I have other coaches. So if you are somebody who loves this kind of video and you don't want to live in that place where your life, it doesn't make sense. So all you got to do is just tune in. I talk about real stuff. There's no way when I make my video and I don't talk about the things, everything that I talk about is the things that I've gone through in life myself. And it was either is the things that my friends have gone through life. It's either I know somebody who is going through whatever I talk about. So it's real. I always try to keep it real. If you're watching all my video, sometimes you might say, I want to follow this girl, or sometimes you might say, I don't, because I always keep it real. I keep my life very, very real, everything that I do on these videos. So God bless, live with grace.